Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Snuff channel. In this video, we're looking at Team List Tuesday for round 13. So well, not even post-Origin. The games are post-Origin, but we are still waiting for Origin. So there is a chance of some interesting names lining up in the next 10 minutes or so. But before we get into that, we will do the Sportsdeck review. So round 12 this week, or week just gone, a bit of a disappointing score for myself with just a 705, which did see me fall 50 spots, and now I'm back outside the top 100. So one of those weeks where I was missing a few players, but I guess as well the players that were in, I missed a couple of the key ones. But looking down the list, McInnes with 57, Fanua Blake with 56, both very solid. Horsburgh and Hosking, a little bit underwhelming, 46 and 35 respectively. Metcalf and Katoa, 38 and 45, so solid returns from both of them. In the centres, we had Ero, Garrick, and Smith. So I'm fairly certain that Smith's 22 wouldn't have counted, just because we did have 13. Iongi with an 80 point return was fantastic. The back three all really good, and Nico Hines with the 61. I guess the difference was we didn't have Lucas, Sharp, those sort of massive scores to complement some of the good scores we had. So there wasn't any head-to-head matchups, but if we have a look in the league, there was one clear big score, and that was Hull White Star Oliver with a 903. So if we have a look at his 7 or his 13, I'm pretty sure it should be. How many did we get? I've just got to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, yeah. And so Billy Smith was counted in that. Oh, and Afahu White didn't play, so yeah, forgot about that. So I only had 13 to choose from. So 105 for Dylan Lucas, 99 for Dylan Sharp. So, you compare that to a Billy Smith and a Ruben Garrick. That's pretty much the 200-point difference. Herbie Farnworth with 62 was great in that wet game on Thursday. Jazz Tavanga with 64 at hooker. It's proven to be a pretty good option as well. Hugo Savala with 69. So can't believe I missed him in this format, but he's probably crushing it. What's he at? 447. So probably one that got away from us there. We had Nico as captain, so that was the same as Teddy anyway. Jamal Fogarty with 65 was good also. So Oliver probably still doing quite well in the overall. Might actually have a sneaky look. So on total points, moved up to 48th overall. So keep it going, Ollie. Absolutely crushing it, mate. In terms of other top scores from this week, Dean Hawkins was quite good for the Eels with the 74. Blake Steep is proven to be quite good. 200k in the bank and a 73 this week means he's still making good cash. Victor Radley, 71, so a good performance for him. Jackson Ford, that decent 70 score. Josh Curran, I bought in fantasy, and he did well in this format as well with 69 points this week. Aaron Clark, if you got on him, you're doing well. 300k profit this year, 64 this week from him. Katoga, 64-point return from him was nice. Jazz Tavanga's gone well. I think we talked about him already, though. Jack Williams is a dual position guy, pretty handy. Dom Young probably won't be in the team, assuming Rob Toyer backs up, but 61 points from him if you're one of the 33 that still have him. Hopgood bouncing back with probably his best score for a few weeks with 60. Harry Hayes, another good one there at the Dogs, but on the bye this week. Riley Smith, for those that have him, went well, 56. And then break evens. Don't know if there's a great deal available. Rob Toyer's still got the best break even, but obviously out with Origin. Might not back up this week. Roosters have the bye the week after. So it's a tough hold if you've got him. Appy Coruscant is an interesting one given the price point. Negative 20 break even. It'll be interesting to see what happens with. It seems like Galvin has gone. He's coming across to the Dogs. Interesting both ways how that plays out. Luke Garner's got a good break even, but he's got a bit of an injury, I think, has already been ruled out. Bronson Garlick could get a game. Sounds like Harry Grant might be leaning towards resting. Ezra Mam's got another game, so you can have another free look before you commit there. Vilea, the Cowboys do offer pretty good buy coverage for the rest of the Origin period, so if you think he's got a bit of upside, potentially one to get on. After that, Lehigh Hopewadi with the news that Tommy Turbo's out, injured this week, could be a bit of a pod at wing fullback. Papali'i looked good on debut, sort of as a Bulldogs junior. Knew that was coming. He's always been a bit of a talent. And yes, I guess the part of the issue, you'll see quite a lot of these guys are on the bye as well this week, which is probably the big issue for my team if we go back to it. So lots of blue dots this week for me, unfortunately, given that the Sharks, the Dogs, and the Dolphins all on bye. So just reset the reserves. So we are relying on the likes of Watson, Haas, Yo backing up. This is the questionable one. Cleary, we're hoping backs up this week. We're probably going to have to play King Togia at the back. Billy Smith can come in. And then, so we do currently have 18 all going to plan, but that's assuming Haas plays. And that also means we're playing LKT. We are playing Ponga, who is probably the one I'd like to get rid of if I can. But we're probably going to have to downgrade. Unless we look to trade, one of these guys. But just looking through, like Iro, Kiraz are both keepers. And ideally we'd like to get Iro back here or even Garrick just to have that flexibility. Hines and Gatoa are both keepers. Preston, we know he's out for a couple more weeks, but he's a keeper. McInnes and Fanua Blake are keepers as well, but I guess I've already sort of reversed the Fanua Blake decision. I just don't like having so much money stuck in the front row. Happy to have like a Tino or that sort of, flexible forward that we can rotate through. So here's the one I'm leaning towards trading out. Push Nafahu wide up front. I should probably be Horsburgh because we might have to cover Haas. And then I guess, the popular trade-in at the moment is Kalal Matangi. 3-round average of 74 in this format since, that shift into the front row. He's probably just even more involved than ever. Won't get the dual position, though, till about round 18, I don't think, because they would have done the most recent lot this week, I think. It might be next week, I'm not sure. But I don't remember seeing anything about extra dual positions, but might have just slipped past. So yeah, that's definitely an option, is Kalal Matangi. Someone like a Nikro would be good if he was playing this week. Could go to Dylan Lucas. And, obviously, but pretty well set with the centres. Happy with Kira Zero. Gary would be nice to upgrade, but, not in a rush. But he also does offer a bit of flexibility in the team. So after that, we're getting into like the middling sort of options anyway. So yeah, so I'm thinking Kalal Matangi just sort of go that same sort of move that a few others have made. And then that might also free up a little bit more cash to do something with Ponga. So if we look at players we can afford at wing fullback, we'll go back to Shibasaki. No, thank you. Already got Iongi. Zarko probably bottomed out in price, but on the buy this week, unfortunately. And you can sort of see as well at this price, I guess AJ Brimson with that move to fullback, if he was named, I think the Titans do have pretty decent coverage over the coming weeks. So how did he go in round 11? Only the 34, so nothing to write home about. They do have a tough one against Melbourne, so I don't know, maybe not. Um, but honestly, there's not too much else that's overly appealing. C and K, I think the Warriors have the buy in round 15, so not that interested in Warriors. So again, Bostock's one that's probably underpriced with his dual position, but on the buy, Tommy Turbo's out injured, so that would be an interesting sort of play. So yeah, I think maybe just, or I guess the other option is we could look at centres. I just realised we can flick Eero back already. Tamale's pretty well peaked in price and has got the buy coming up. Alamotti doesn't cover round 15, so not the best pick. Yeah, nothing particularly jumps out. Because I don't think Ewan Aitken's got dual position in this format either. Jack Whiten, how far away is he from injury comeback? Oh no, it's past 4 o'clock, so let's just lock someone in. Probably gone too far down the list at this point. Zach Laybert, I guess with that sort of reshuffle, he's establishing himself in the side. So I'll just put him in for now. It's probably not going to stay. But roughly those will be the moves. And then that does give me a bit more. Actually, not much more flexibility, really, does it? Because it's only Laybert. But I guess it does, yeah, because White's injured anyway. So, yeah, so I probably do need to make that sort of move. So Laybert is on the bench. Got 18. If Haas doesn't back up with his injury, that's 17. If not, we'll work it out. We do have a boost, but want to try to keep it up the sleeve. But anyway, let's look at the teams. So Leo Thompson, I think he might have been out, so that's a good one to come back. There you go. So just saying that if there's additional players in the Origin team, they can have a further extended bench. That's fine. Dragons Knights first game on Friday night. So for the Dragons, Val Holmes named to back up. Tui Pelotti back. So for those that had him, do we get back on the Tui Pelotti train? The forward pack looks very similar to what it has been. So yeah, Tui Pelotti back for Allen. So Toby Couchman back as well for Egan. So that's a timely return for the Dragons. For the Knights, KP named to back up. So still no Marzo. Is he in the extended bench? No. So Fletcher Hunt, Cole McCarthy, I think both playing their third games this week. So some potential there. Particularly with Bradman Best injury, maybe McCarthy is a useful hold. You'd imagine that Hunt will just make way for Marzu when he's back in a week or two. So yeah, that could be one we look at actually now that I've thought it through. But other than that, I think the forward pack with Leo Thompson there, no Adam Elliott, so that's probably a straight swap. Um, yeah, so Leo Thompson back, so Brodie Jones drops back to the bench. Cool. Titans Storm Saturday 3 p.m. rather. Well, that's a bit quick. So for the Titans, so they've gone with AJ Brimson back at 5'8", Kieran Foran in the 14. So sort of sticking to the plan, not sort of losing faith, but again, keep an eye out for late mail on that. Chris Randall named on the edge. I think Haas might have been playing there, potentially. But yeah, Tino and Bo Fermel both named to back up, which is interesting for the Storm. So I think that's pretty well the team they've been running with. They do have the extended bench because they would have Harry Grant, Cam Munster, Xavier Coates, all backing up from Origin. Trent Liero. So yeah, quite deep reserves list there. So just watch out for some late changes. There, Cowboys, Tigers. So yeah, so Zach Laybart named, as I said, potential cheapy option or cheapish option with good coverage of the coming buys. Purdue, but still in the 6. Doesn't look too different from the team they had previously. Obviously, all the Origin guys just keep an eye out for. And the Tigers, so gone with Heath Mason in the 6 jersey. So that's not the first option I would have thought of. So yeah, kept Adam Dewey in the centres. So maybe that'll be a change. But I think Mason's more of a fullback, so maybe they will use him as sort of a running half. Up front, Royce Hunt gets another start. Samuel Alfano, was he injured or is he the one that... no, it mustn't be because he's not listed as an in. Yeah, so it looks like the only change is Lockie Galvin out, so Heath Mason in. Yep, sweet. So Seagulls, Broncos. So for the Seagulls, Tom Trbojevic already was known to be out, so Hopewadi to fullback. Tommy Talau comes onto the wing. Forward pack looks pretty stock standard. Jake Trbojevic still out with the HIA. So Jazz Tavanga gets another go for those who got him in different formats. And for the Broncos, so Jesse Arthur's named at fullback, Selwyn Cobbo on the wing. So that's an interesting change. Don't know if that makes Arthur's any more relevant for Supercoach or any of the formats. Not sure. Ezra Mam named in the 6 again. Corey Pake's named to start, so I think the Billy Walters thing is finished. I don't know if that's from previous weeks or... No, they haven't mentioned it. But Ben Takura comes on the bench. So I was a bit stressed about numbers for Sportsdeck. I've held him as like a enough type player. It might have actually paid off this week. So that's even with Payne Haas named. So even if Payne Haas drops off, you think maybe Fletcher Baker elevates. So Takura is going to get a run by the looks of it, which is good news. Rabbitohs, Warriors. So for the Rabbits, Campbell Graham named to back up. Interesting if he does play with Stephen Crichton with that injury. Latrell named to back up. yeah, pretty much the same team they've had, I think. You know, Kyle Matangi are up front, which is nice. Yep. Jai Gray is that bench utility. So, yeah, no difference, just a few on the bench. And for the Warriors, Rocco Berry back this week. So Capewell shifts back to the second row. Halasima back to the bench. That's about it, I think. So Panthers, Eels. So maybe the last game. No, 2 games to go. So Panthers, so Edwards, To'o, Cleary, Yo, all named to back up. Obviously, sitting at the foot of the table, can't afford to rest these guys too often, you'd think. So fairly confident they'll all back up on the Sunday. Don't know, is there anyone? Liam Henry, Jesse McLean out. So Scott Sorensen returns. Isaac Tungo pushes back into the centres, which I think is why Jesse McLean's dropped out. And for the Eels, so Sam Rani named in the centres. What's happened? Oh, Will Penasini must have got injured. Yeah, concussion. So, yeah, so I guess Sam Rani gets another game. So if you've got him, he's a hold. And given his versatility, you know, he could cover for Lomax on Origin, but I think the Eels have the bye in round 15 anyway. So, don't know if he's a trade in, but if you've got him, that's a very useful number this week. Up front, Jack Williams in the front row. Tuolangi back. I think he's been unavailable. No, he must have played last week. There you go. Josh Papali named on the bench as well. So, guess if you're desperate for a number, Papali could get a second game this week. And Roosters Raiders. So, Roosters, Rob Toyer named a backup from Origin. Crichton, Watson all there as well. Spencer Leniu. So, yeah, pretty full strength side. Egan Butcher back to the bench. So, just double check. Yeah, so just for my fantasy team, Hopgood starting, Egan Butcher on the bench. So I might have to flip my trade over a bit there. But yeah, pretty well full strength Roosters side with who they've got available at the moment. And then for the Raiders, my phone's going off. Owen Paddy getting a start with Tommy Starling out suspended. So Danny Levi comes onto the bench as cover. But I think that's pretty much it. Hudson Young back from Origin. Yeah, nice. So cool. So no sort of major shocks. Obviously, there will be some late changes. I don't know if there's any sort of big moves that we need to make this week. It's, you know, if you can avoid it, probably try not to trade. I know I've done trades across pretty much all the formats, but got a couple of issues I need to fix. Maybe not in fantasy, but it's more of an upgrade. So why not? And yeah, we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the team list content or sports deck content at the same time. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.